It's time to be that motherfucker. You ever have a moment where you look in the mirror and realize you've been playing small? Not weak, not incapable, just small. Like you've been living at 10% of who you are because the world convinced you that staying quiet, staying safe, staying agreeable was the mature thing, the responsible thing, the realistic thing. But inside, behind your ribs, beneath your breath, there's this darker, louder, sharper version of you that's tired of being polite about your potential. It's tired of waiting, it's tired of asking permission, and it's tired of watching you shrink every time life gets loud. That voice is the real you, and it's screaming at you right now. It's time to be that motherfucker. The version of you that doesn't apologize for wanting more. The version that doesn't water itself down so people feel comfortable. The version that doesn't back up when things get tough, but laughs at the challenge because pressure is the only environment where you've ever actually grown. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That internal switch, that inner beast, that relentless, unfiltered, unapologetic energy you've buried under doubt and fear and maybe later. And the truth is, you didn't bury it because it was weak. You buried it because you knew deep down that once you let that version of you out, there would be no going back to the life you settled for. That version of you would demand more, earn more, risk more, become more. That version of you would scare the people who prefer you tame. That version of you would break every excuse you've ever used to stay comfortable. And that's the exact version of you that your future is waiting for. But let's get something straight. Being that MF isn't about ego. It's not about pretending to be invincible or running around like you're above everyone. It's not some cartoon version of confidence. It's about finally deciding that you will show up as the strongest, rawest, realest version of yourself. It's about refusing to let small thinking sabotage your big purpose. It's about taking all the pain, all the setbacks, all the quiet nights you spent questioning yourself and turning them into fuel. It's about walking into a room and not needing validation because you already validate yourself by the way you work, the way you commit, the way you rise. And let's talk about commitment because everyone loves motivation until it demands consistency. Everyone loves the fantasy of success until it requires sacrifice. Everyone wants the crown until they realize how heavy it is and how much blood it asks for. Being that MF means waking up on days your body says no and showing up anyway. It means looking at your weaknesses without flinching. It means telling your excuses to get the hell out of your way because you've got shit to build, shit to learn, shit to conquer. It means refusing to wait for the perfect moment because you finally understand that the perfect moment is whatever moment you choose to move. People will misunderstand you. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're obsessed, too intense, too focused, too hungry. Let them talk. Let them stay exactly where they are. You're not here to make everyone comfortable. You're here to grow. You're here to evolve. You're here to drag yourself out of that lukewarm life and into the fire where legends forge themselves. Comfort never made anyone unstoppable. Playing it safe never made anybody extraordinary. You don't owe the world your quietness. You don't owe anyone your smallness. You owe yourself the life you keep imagining every time you close your eyes. And listen, being that MF is not about the noise you make. It's about the pressure you can carry. It's about the discipline no one sees. It's about the nights when you're exhausted but still push. It's about the mornings when your mind tries to negotiate and you shut it down. It's about the boundaries you build, the goals you protect, the dreams you refuse to let die. Being that MF is about doing the work when nobody is hyping you, when nobody is clapping, when nobody understands what the hell you're building. It's about showing up in silence so you can shine loudly later. You weren't born to be average. You weren't built for a life that feels like slow suffocation. You weren't designed to be another person fading into the background. Something in you is bigger. Something in you is louder. Something in you is restless because it knows you've barely scratched the surface of who you could become. You feel it. The ambition, the aggression, the fire, the pull. It's time to stop pretending you don't. It's time to stop waiting for the right opportunity. It's time to stop letting people who don't have your vision talk you out of your path. It's time to stop letting fear negotiate your future. It's time to stop living with your handbrake on. It's time to be that MF. You ever notice how life keeps giving you the same lessons until you finally grow the spine to face them? It's not bad luck. It's not the universe picking on you. It's the world trying to force you into your potential. Every setback you've had, every disappointment, every moment where you felt like you were done, those weren't signals to quit. Those were invitations to level the hell up. But you ignored them because you weren't ready to be the version of yourself that those challenges were shaping. You were still trying to survive when life was trying to make you dominate. You were still trying to get by when life was trying to make you rise. But the beautiful thing is, you can decide right now that the old you is done serving you. You can decide that the next setback you face will not break you. It will introduce you to the version of yourself you've been hiding from. Being that MF means you stop running from difficulty and start running toward it. It means you stop praying for easy days and start sharpening yourself for hard ones. Because here's the truth, most people will never accept. The harder your life feels right now, the stronger you're being forced to become. Pressure isn't punishment, it's preparation. Life is trying to see if you can handle the life you keep asking for. You want success? It's testing your discipline. You want strength? It's testing your persistence. You want transformation? It's testing your willingness to let go of the weak version of you that keeps sabotaging your progress. You want greatness? Then you better believe life is going to make you bleed before it lets you wear the crown. There comes a point where you get tired of your own bullshit, tired of procrastinating, tired of talking about dreams instead of chasing them, tired of giving half effort and expecting full results, tired of waiting for motivation to magically appear, tired of repeating the same cycle like you're trapped in your own habits. That moment, when you're sick of your own excuses, that's the birth of the unstoppable version of you. The version that doesn't ask, "How long will this take?" but asks, "How far can I go?" The version that doesn't crumble under pressure, but roars back with more intensity. The version that doesn't need approval because it's fueled by purpose. The version that doesn't quit because quitting is simply not part of its DNA anymore. And don't get it twisted. Being that MF doesn't mean you don't feel fear. You do. Everyone does. Fear doesn't disappear. You just stop letting it make decisions for you. Fear stops being a barrier and becomes a compass pointing to the shit you need to conquer. Being that MF means you feel the fear, acknowledge the fear, and then do the damn thing anyway. It means you understand fear is a sign you're stepping into territory where your old self can't survive, and that's exactly where you need to be. Growth happens when you choose courage over comfort, when you choose action over hesitation, when you choose progress over perfection. People say they want success, but flinch at sacrifice. They say they want transformation, but cling to the habits that are destroying them. They say they want a new life, but refuse to kill the version of themselves holding them back. Being that MF means you accept the truth that transformation is violent. It requires self-confrontation. It demands accountability. You have to sit with the parts of you you've been avoiding, the laziness, the doubt, the insecurity, the lack of discipline, and you have to dismantle them piece by piece. Nobody is coming to save you from your own patterns. Nobody is coming to drag you into discipline. Nobody is coming to hand you the life you want. This is your responsibility, your burden, your privilege, your fight. One day you're going to look back and realize you weren't unprepared, you were just unwilling. That's the difference. You had the ability, but not the commitment. You had the fire, but not the focus. You had the vision, but you were too busy trying to live like everyone else. The day you decide you're done pretending to be average is the day your entire world shifts. You start thinking bigger, moving sharper, acting with purpose. You start showing up to your own life with energy instead of excuses. You stop negotiating your standards. You stop tolerating bullshit from yourself and everyone else. You stop waiting for signs because you realize you're the sign. Being that MF means you walk like your future depends on your next step, because it does. Every action you take is a vote for the person you become. Every choice you make pulls you closer to your potential or deeper into your patterns. You don't get to drift into greatness. You build it, you carve it, you fight for it. When you're tired, you fight. When you're unmotivated, you fight. When you're doubting yourself, you fight. When your whole world feels like it's collapsing, you fight harder because that's when your breakthrough is closest. Most people quit right before they change. Most people fold right before they level up. Most people retreat the moment life pushes back. But not you. Not anymore. You're done quitting. You're done folding. You're done shrinking. You're done living as a watered-down version of your potential. It's time. It's been time. It's time to be that motherfucker. There's a moment in every person's life when the world stops being the problem and you realize the real enemy has been living in your own head. Not the economy, not your past, not the people who doubted you, not your circumstances. You. Your hesitation, your self-doubt, your comfort obsession, your need to feel ready before you move, your addiction to waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect timing, the perfect conditions. That mindset is the chains around your ankles. And the crazy part, you have the key. You always have. The moment you understand that your life doesn't change because you want it to, it changes because you get pissed enough to actually do something about it. That's the moment everything shifts. That's the birth of the real you. That's when you finally step into the identity you've been avoiding. The version of you who doesn't wait, doesn't hesitate, doesn't apologize. The version of you who acts. Being that MF means you stop entertaining your own bullshit. You know the bullshit I'm talking about. The soft lies you tell yourself to justify staying where you are. I'll start later. I'm too tired. I'm too stressed. I'm not ready. I need to think about it. Those lies are comfortable, and comfort is the coffin where ambition goes to die. Every time you say later, you bury another piece of your potential. Every time you say I'm tired, you give your excuses more power. Being that MF means you start telling the truth, the real truth, the uncomfortable truth, which is that you're capable of far more than the weak version of you is willing to admit. And let's be real, the world will try to tame you. It will try to convince you that wanting more is greedy, that being ambitious is arrogant, that pushing yourself is extreme. People who gave up on their own dreams always have the loudest opinions about yours. They'll call you obsessed because they settled. They'll call you unrealistic because their goals were small. They'll call you lucky because they never had the discipline to grind. But here's what being that MF really means. You don't hear that noise anymore. Not because it's quiet, but because you've outgrown the frequency. Because when you're locked in, when you're committed, when you're operating on purpose, the opinions of people who don't have what you want become irrelevant. You don't take advice from the unmotivated. You don't take criticism from the unaccomplished. You don't take judgment from the ones who never had the guts to become who they were meant to be. There will be days where you feel alone. That's part of the transformation. Growth is lonely because most people are terrified of their own potential. They cling to routine like it's a life raft. They cling to comfort like it's oxygen. They cling to the version of themselves they've outgrown because it's familiar, but not you, not anymore. You're walking into the unknown on purpose. You're choosing the path with no guarantees. You're choosing to evolve even when it scares you. That's what separates the ones who rise from the ones who rot. That's what separates the winners from the watchers. That's what separates the people who talk about change from the ones who actually become it. You're going to lose people along the way, but don't you dare shrink to keep them. Don't you dare dim your ambition so others can feel comfortable in your presence. Don't you dare slow down your climb for someone who's never ready to move. Being that MF means understanding that evolution requires separation. You don't get to drag everyone with you. Some people are anchors disguised as friends. Some people are comfort disguised as love. Some people are distractions disguised as connection. When you rise, you outgrow what once fit you. That's not arrogance. That's progress. And if someone can't handle your growth, they were never meant to stand next to your greatness in the first place. And let's talk about pain, because you're going to feel it. You're going to feel exhausted, frustrated, overwhelmed, stretched thin. You're going to question yourself. You're going to wonder if it's worth it. But hear me clearly. Pain is the admission price for the life you want. You don't get transformation without tearing. You don't get strength without strain. You don't get resilience without pressure. The difference is simple. Average people run from pain, but being that MF means you face it head on. You don't numb it, you don't avoid it, you don't collapse under it, you use it, you turn it into fuel, you turn it into focus, you turn it into a reason to push twice as hard. Because pain is the universe asking, how bad do you want it? And your answer should always be, bad enough to take every hit and keep moving. The moment you decide you're done negotiating your worth, done diluting your potential, done playing the smaller version of yourself, that's when you become dangerous. Dangerous to your old patterns, dangerous to your excuses, dangerous to every fear that used to control you, dangerous to every limitation you once believed. That's the energy of being that MF, the energy of someone who refuses to be defined by anything other than their own relentless hunger to grow. You're not here to exist. You're here to evolve. You're here to build. You're here to show every version of yourself that ever doubted, hesitated, or folded that you are no longer that person. You're here to rewrite the story. You're here to burn the old script and become the version of yourself you always knew was buried beneath hesitation and fear. This is your turning point. This is your moment. This is the line in the sand. It's time to be that motherfucker.